Calgary Police Service Auto Theft Unit is advising consumers to be cautious when purchasing used motor vehicles. To date, in 2012, the CPS Auto Theft Unit has recovered over 45 vehicles that have been cloned or rebinned. In our media release, we discussed how the culprits are doing this and what steps consumers should take to prevent this. We have a vehicle up front that you can take video of or take photographs of, and I'm available to answer any questions you may have.
How does 45 compare to past years? Is that high?
Yeah, this is a trend that we're seeing dramatic spikes in the last 3 or 4 years. Many years ago, this was a trend that originated out of Eastern Canada, and vehicles are being rebinned or cloned out there. Sent out to Alberta, sold to unsuspecting consumers, but now we're seeing our own Alberta criminals doing the same thing.
Do you have any numbers from past years so we can compare?
Well, I'd say about 3 years ago, we might have investigated and seized about 10 vehicles, and this year we're up to 45, 46, and there are several outstanding vehicles that we are currently looking for.
And who are these, I guess, criminals? This is something that's sophisticated, like an organized crime ring, or are these, a few people in their basement doing this, or?
No, this is definitely organized crime. There's a huge profit to be made, and particularly if you're obtaining these vehicles by fraud or theft, selling to unsuspecting consumers, they're making thousands of dollars. We use these vehicles off of outlaw motorcycle gang members and other organized crime groups in Calgary.
What's the risk to the buyer?
Well, the risk to the buyer is they're not doing their due diligence and spending thousands of dollars. The vehicles that we're recovering are high-end cars and SUVs, trucks, so $50,000, $60,000 vehicles. When we go to their door and seize their vehicle, they're out that money because the vehicle was originally stolen from someone else or from the victim's insurance company.
So what can they do with buying a vehicle like this?
There are a number of things that the public can do. First of all, do the research on the vehicle. If you're buying a 2010 Dodge Ram truck, know what a 2010 Dodge Ram truck looks like. Compare the VIN on the dash, on the lower left dashboard, to the federal standard sticker on the driver's side door. If they look fraudulent, if they look like they've been tampered with, ask more questions. Ask to see vehicle repair bills. If you're buying a used vehicle, there should be service records from the auto repair shops. There should be a history of that vehicle. There's a government database. Consumers can check the VIN to see if it's reported stolen. They can take that vehicle to a dealership. If you're buying a Ford, take it to a Ford dealership. Have the service technicians check that vehicle out for you.
Is this something being seen through private sales, or is it something where the guys are trying to sell them back to dealerships? How are these transactions going on?
They're usually private sales. We've actually recovered one vehicle from a car dealership. But it was I can't remember the exact make of the vehicle, but let's say it was a Ford, and it was sold back to let's say a Toyota dealership or vice versa. But usually it's private sales.
These 45, how did you discover them? How did they get under radar?
Well, we started 2 investigations in the last year and a half, and working with Service Alberta registries, insurance companies. We started doing our own investigative checks and then finding out vehicles, same vehicle identification numbers registered in 2 different provinces, and then recover them that way. So.
Is there any trend you're noticing as far as where these vehicles are originating from? Are they being sold out of Calgary? Are they being sold from out east and being shipped out here? How's that?
The trend we're seeing right now is that they're being stolen or obtained by fraud in Calgary, the Calgary region, and sold all over Alberta. We've recovered vehicles in Montreal that were in a shipping container going to Central Africa. So we don't see too many vehicles coming from Eastern Canada to Alberta these days.
Those ones that were headed for Africa, those were originated in Alberta?
In Calgary, correct.
And the other one you mentioned that was you guys found at a dealership, was that one of those 45 this year?
It was.
Yeah.
Is this more prominent in Alberta? Is this an Alberta problem, would you say, or is it happening across country?
Well, this is definitely happening across country. My experience has shown over my 23 years as a police officer, if a scam is working in one jurisdiction, it's certainly happening in other jurisdictions. And it's It's very easy to do.
So they're not coming to Alberta for a specific reason or anything?
No, not that we're finding. We have our own criminals causing us lots of work.
Is the trend you said before that there was a trend where it was from the east coming out here, and then it kind of died off. Now it's returning again. And can you pinpoint maybe why it's kind of becoming prevalent again? Is it because there's $60,000 vehicles to be on?
Yeah, I can't exactly pinpoint it other than when I came into the auto theft units, and the investigators are showing me how it works. It's such an easy scam, and it's really buyer beware. And my experience has shown that criminals will share information, and that knowledge gets passed along the chain to jail. And so if it's working in one area, it's certainly working in another area.
What kind of vehicles are being targeted? Are they all high-end type vehicles?
High-end trucks, cars. We've recovered a Lamborghini, lots of trucks, SUVs.
Is it fairly simple to lay charges, like at least 45, where most of them have resulted in charges?
There's been a lot of charges laid. It's resource intensive for the investigators. First of all, we have to find the vehicle, and then find the vehicle that was cloned in another province. So we engage our law enforcement partners across Canada to go out and find that vehicle for us. And then our auto theft investigators have to do their confidential checks on motor vehicles, because every motor vehicle has hidden serial numbers to confirm that's where the vehicle originated from, or the true identity of that vehicle.
But the person selling said vehicle
Yep.
must be on the hook for charges, right?
Well, yeah, that comes down to the investigation that the auto theft detectives do. Sometimes we're seeing vehicles that are flipped 3 or 4 times, and certainly there's been unsuspecting consumers buying vehicles and then selling to other unsuspecting consumers. So, if we have the evidence, we're certainly laying charges.
Do you have any idea, an estimate of how many charges you might have laid this year in connection with this kind of vehicle?
I don't have that handy, but if we go outside, I can talk to the detective and get that for you.
And as you said, it is in the release, but do you mind just staying on tape, giving a sort of a simple explanation as to what vehicle cloning is?
Sure. So a motor vehicle is obtained by theft or fraud. Culprits are then searching for similar make, model, style, color, vehicle in another province, another color. They're obtaining that VIN, the vehicle identification number, and then making fraudulent VIN plates and federal standards decals, putting them on the vehicles, and then they're registering them in Alberta for the first time. And then they're either keeping them for themselves or selling them to unsuspecting consumers.
We talked about the number of charges, but do you know how many people may be facing charges? Do you know that?
I can get that for you afterwards.
What kind of charges would they face?
Well, we're looking at theft of motor vehicle, we look at fraud, and we look at tampering with vehicle identification number for charges.
What's up?
Sure.
The vehicle's just parked outside.